You don't go to the gym once and get in good shape. You don't hear this out of my mouth once and then do it right for the rest of your life. If you don't have enough purpose, if you don't have enough hunger, the first obstacle will stop you.
Do you want to look back in 5 years and say, I still should have, I could have? How long have some of us been waiting on a decision, living on the edge of gonna do it for ages? Why don't we just declare today that this is the moment, this is the time in history where you're not gonna accept okay?
And what I want to talk about today is getting your knuckles dirty. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about getting sweaty, getting beat up, failing, feeling embarrassed, going against the grain, not listening to your family, not listening to your friends, feeling like an oddball, feeling alone, working hard when no one's watching. That's what I want to talk about today. You're like, wow, Dean, I thought this was going to be inspirational. This is inspirational, and this is the part I've been talking about a lot. You probably heard me say it, but I'm going to say it again. You don't go to the gym once and get in good shape. You don't hear this out of my mouth once and then do it right for the rest of your life. I want to talk about you and if you're paying your success tax, right? Everybody pays tax. Do we like it? No, but we know we got to pay income tax. We make money, a certain point goes through. We buy something, sales tax. We got to pay tax. No way around it. There is no way around you getting your next level of life without you paying success tax. It's never going to come. And what do I mean by that? Now, if you've seen me on stage or heard me share this, I'm going to share it again. I want you to really listen. This is your life we're talking about. If you want to be a famous musician, and you want to be at Madison Square Garden, and you want to stand on the edge of the stage, jamming in your guitar, and have 50,000 people singing your song, that would be the ideal, that would be the goal, that would be the glory, that would be the home run, that would be the magic if you are a musician. That could be if you want to run your own company, make your own money, inspire others, become a millionaire, become a billionaire, whatever it is you want to do, that would be the grand, like, right? But what most people are unwilling to do is do what it takes to get on stage in front of 50,000 people where they're singing their songs. We see people, sometimes we envy them, we wish we could be them, but are we willing to do what they do? If that person is doing that, I would bet to say that that person played when no one was watching, played that guitar until there's a song, right? Until his fingers bled, when no one was watching. Maybe he skipped going out with the boys, or she skips hanging out with her friends, and maybe missed prom. Maybe parents said, if you keep playing that guitar, we're not paying for your college and you have to move out. And they moved out. Maybe their girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with them because all they did is play in the band at night. What about when they had to pack up an old van and go from dive bar to dive bar, where their first songs that sucked, people threw beer bottles and booed them off stage and they left crying? Or they went to a place and they drove 4 hours and they got there and the owner wouldn't let them on stage, or let them on stage and then wouldn't pay them, and they drove back with their tail between their legs. What about when one of the members of the band quit because, like, this is stupid, my parents said I'm an idiot, I am an idiot? What about all that? That's all success tax. And then when they got their first record deal, they thought they were going to get a lot of money and they didn't. They got a record deal, the song went popular, but the record company screwed them out of their money, but they kept going. Their wife or girlfriend broke up with them because they were too obsessed. They kept going. Their parents stopped talking to them. They kept going. Their friends told them they were losers. They kept going. They got booed off a stage. They kept going. And all of a sudden, they're in Madison Square Garden playing in front of 50,000 people, and everybody's envious, saying, I could do that. No, you couldn't, unless you're willing to pay all the success tax. So let me ask you again. Are you paying your success tax? Because you can't get there. There's an auditor, believe me, with a checkbox going, you want the millions, you want it? Have you put the time in? Have you felt failure? Have you felt embarrassed? Have you felt miserable? Have you had the stress? Have you had the worry? If you're not willing to do that, then get out of line. Get in line with 98% of the world who plays it normal, who lives with status quo. They're okay with an okay life or even a good life. Go over there. That's the line for everybody else. This line of super successful people, this is a line of people who are willing to pay their tax. Are you willing to pay yours? And as I say that, can you look back in your life and start changing some of that past that you thought was so hard and so bad and realize you were just paying your due diligence? You were just doing the things you had to do. You were doing the things to build up the grit, to build up knowledge into wisdom so you could have the tenacity, you could have the energy, you could have the enthusiasm to avoid everything around you, to go through the shit, to walk through the mud so you can get to that next level of glory in your life. Now that's what success tax is. Listen, I love being successful. I love having the freedom to make the choices I want. I love employing an incredible group of people. I love inspiring the world. I love that I have millions of dollars in my bank account. I love that I own millions and millions of dollars in real estate. All that's great. And I love it. And I would do it all over again to get back here. But I promise you, it didn't happen by accident. I promise you it didn't happen by giving away a free book. It didn't happen because I stumbled onto a great real estate deal. It didn't just happen because I created a high-level mastermind or low-level mastermind. It happened because I put the work in, and I have failed miserably, and I've questioned myself, and I've asked if I'm really smart enough to do this, and I felt like I was a phony at some cases. I went through all of it. I lost relationships. I stopped talking. Some people in my family stopped talking to me. I went through all of that. But I found a way to go, I'm still heading in the direction I want. I know where I want to go. My sight is set on it, and I'm doing whatever it takes. I don't take no for an answer. I fail very fast. I get up and I brush off and I keep going. I'm encouraging you right now to stop taking no for an answer, to stop giving up, to stop letting other people get in your way, to stop thinking the obstacles in your path are there to hold you back when indeed they are the success tax that you have to pay to get to where you want to go. I want you to start reframing it today. If you've heard me say this, good. Let it sink in. If this is the first time, let it sink in. Pay your success tax. Stay on your path. Don't let anybody steer you off it. And watch how you can truly be set for life. That's what I want for all of you, to be set for life, to have the rules for success. We think if we hear it once, we got it, move on to the next. How many times do you have to go to the gym to get in shape? Can you go over a weekend and be in shape for the rest of your life? No. How many times do you have to hear success rules, habits, foundational skills all the time? How often do you have to practice it? All the time. You know, I remember when Tony Robbins first got me to give him cut a check for speed. I got his course, and then he introduced me to, he had these things called Power Talk, where each month I would get a new DVD. That's how long ago it was, or CD. And it would be someone like a Wayne Dyer, an Eckhart Tolle, or Deepak Chopra, or Coach John Wooden. And I got all these people I got to learn self-education from, personal growth from, success skills. Oh my God, transform my life. Well, some things never change. I just saw that he did an interview with Martine Rothblatt. And I knew who Martine was. In fact, I think I met her really quick. She is the creator and founder of Sirius Radio. Right now, here's the other thing about Martine. Martine used to be Martin. Now think about that. That's a whole nother story of having to deal with a gender change in today's world where people they don't really know yet, right? It's just new. So I can't even imagine that road. Married for 33 years, seems like the most amazing couple. But I'm sharing this for a reason, because I want to remind you of the power of purpose, the power of passion, the power of hunger to accomplish something, how that can overcome any obstacle that's in your way. If you don't have enough purpose, if you don't have enough hunger, the first obstacle will stop you. You'll say, I tried, but what if there was no but? There was just an answer. There was just a solution no matter what. So why do I tell you this? So Martine has incredible amounts of accomplishments in her life and things that she's overcome and success. Sirius Radio. I mean, come on, satellites in the air so we could have radio. I mean, you know that. But when her daughter was 9 years old, when everything was flying high and Sirius Radio was crushing and relationship was great, Martine takes her 9-year-old daughter to the hospital to find out, and I wrote this down, she has pulmonary arterial hypertension, a lung disorder that's fatal. No one's ever lived from it, ever. And Martine just didn't want to accept that. But wherever he went, every doctor said there's nothing. So what does he do? He raises funds, uses his own money, and starts trying to do research to find a cure. The doctors and the scientists that he hires says, I think we can find a cure, Martine, but not in time to save your daughter. I'm sorry. So he still doesn't give up. So they tell him that, and he's like, that's not enough. So he searches every pharmaceutical company, finds that one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world has a pill that may, or an ingredient, a process, a pill, a patent on something that could help slow it down. So he goes there, and he's a Sirius Radio. He's he's got satellite company. They don't want to sell it to him. And they said, no, it's not even in final stages. Just it's preliminary approval. We're not selling it. They tell him no a second time. They tell him no a third time. And the third time they say, absolutely not. We're not selling this. But he had purpose. He had passion. He had hunger. I can't even imagine. I'm a dad. I can't imagine what that feeling is. But I got goosebumps today when after a third time, he still wouldn't accept no, because his hunger was so strong. His purpose was so driven that he convinced them after the fourth, fifth, or sixth time to sell them the patent for $25,000. And he said he got a little pile of powder and like a breakdown of what was in it. That was it. It wasn't pills. He thought he was having a pill for his daughter. So he really had to start from there because it wasn't ready to give to people. He went to his scientists, his doctors. They said, no, this will never be a pill. It won't work. It won't process it. All these technical terms. He said, unacceptable. Unacceptable. We're going to find how to make this work. And through perseverance, through purpose, through passion, through hunger, figured out how to make it into a pill. Figured out how to make it where a human could actually take it. I'd like to report his daughter's 33 years old. Over 35,000 people in the world have not lost their life because of Martine and his obsession and his passion and his purpose. And here's the craziest part. He got to save his daughter. And you know how much that drug did in sales last year alone? $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion while simultaneously saving his daughter's life and so many others. Now, were there a million obstacles in between that? Of course. And sometimes you fail and you don't get the prize like that. Of course. But he was so purpose-driven, so passion-driven, so hungry for the solution. He did not hear no. He didn't hear the people say, no, it's not going to work. There's no cure. Your daughter's unfortunately going to die. We're not going to sell it to you. We can't do it. That was nothing to him. Yeah. How many times are you going to say no before we finally get to the yes? Now, what if we can just rob a glimpse of that passion? Listen, I don't want to compare your business to a child facing a life-threatening disease, but what if we can have 10% of that passion, 10% of that purpose-driven life, 10% of that hunger to pull your life in the direction you want to go? Listen, at the end of our life, at 100 years old, you're going to look back and wish you had a piece of it, that you went after it. You stopped dabbling, you stopped thinking, and you went after your full potential, your next level. We all deserve it. We all desire it. We all crave it. I'm just asking you right now, who are you? I'm just asking you right now, are you ready to go for it? Because I have to tell you, I've been on both sides, struggle, worry, and I know what they both feel. I know what it feels like. But I've been on the other side, where things all seem to go right, where I'm living in my passion. I'm living on purpose. I'm hungry for achieving more. And I have to tell you, it's absolutely worth it. Not kind of worth it, absolutely worth it. Life's going to be hard no matter what we do. We might as well go after what we really want. When I think about mistakes or failure, I think about you, Bree, my daughter, for those of you that don't know. Bree, so many times when you make a mistake, or at least you perceive it as a mistake, which is probably just a lesson for you, I know that in the moment you can handle it, but when you're alone at night and you're in your room, I know you, again, you're 12 when I'm recording this, you get anxiety sometimes at night because you start thinking of the things you feel you did wrong, or maybe upset somebody, or maybe you felt you were rude to somebody, or you failed a test in school, and you allow it to eat you up. I shouldn't say allow. You're 12 years old. You're figuring this out. By the time you're watching this, you probably have it handled. But this is for you. And this is for you, Brody. This is for future children. It's for anybody watching. I used to beat myself up so bad when it came to mistakes, especially when I couldn't read and I felt pathetic and I thought I was going to be left behind. My friends were going off to college and doing all these great things, and I was stuck in my little town going to be working on cars and greasy fingernails and sucking paint fumes from working in a collision shop. And man, every time I did something wrong, I beat myself up bad. If I felt I offended somebody, even if I didn't, I would beat myself up bad. If I thought I made the wrong choice, I should have went this way instead of this way, I would beat myself up bad. But here's what I want you to know at this phase of my life. And it's hard to get this perspective until you're actually here. I'm 50 now. I can look back. I'll look back and be wiser and smarter at 60 and 70 and 80 and 90 and 110. I got to go at least to 110. Maybe 115 is what I'm hoping. But here's the thing. Kidding aside, when I look back, it's those mistakes, it's those failures that actually sharpen the knife. Listen, I know this is not mine. I didn't make it up, and you've probably heard it before, but the smoothest stone is in the roughest part of the stream. The most successful people I know, the happiest people I know, are the ones that went through the hardest times, the ones that failed miserably. Most successful people have gone bankrupt or lost all their money at one point. Most people in really happy relationships, like your dad is right now, like I am right now at this time in my life, it took me screwing up and making really bad mistakes and failing miserably in past relationships and doing the wrong things and thinking I was right and being too stubborn and not growing as a human being. But at the phase I'm at now, those mistakes crafted the man I am today. The mistakes that I made as a child helped me translate and relate better to you now because I made those mistakes. I learned from them. I learned in relationships. I have a better relationship. I learned and went broke twice in my businesses, and hopefully that never happens again because I learned from those mistakes. I made mistakes with friends and felt terrible about it, but I crafted this next level. It sharpened the knife. So in this video, I want to give you the lesson of don't beat yourself up about mistakes. Know that it's part of your journey. Know that failure is a part of success. It's not a byproduct. It's not something that could happen. It is a must. You must fail. So I was on a plane and someone left their magazine in the little compartment. I pull it out and it was an article about Sarah Blakely, the owner, creator of Spanx. And as I remember it, she was there. The person interviewing said, "How did you get over the failures that you had previous to Spanx? Like so many people, you'd fail and like give up. Like, oh my God, I tried that business thing twice. It didn't work. It hurt. It stung. I lost my money. How'd you keep going?" And she said, and I hope I have instilled this in you guys, my children. I hope I help the whole world see this, whoever watches this. But she said, growing up, my dad didn't make failure a bad thing. In fact, he made it bad if we didn't fail. She said very often, and this is how I remember the article, it could be a little different. Very often he would say, "What did you fail at today?" when we were young, like consistently through our entire childhood. And if she said nothing, he'd say, "Well, I guess you didn't push yourself enough today." So what does that mean? It means that her father realized and then gifted it to her, gave her the lesson that if you're not failing, if you're not getting cut from the varsity football team or baseball team, or getting rejected to be in the Marines or being on SEAL team or getting rejected for a job that's over your head, if you're not getting rejected, if you don't have some businesses fail, it means you're not pushing hard enough. You're living in a complacent life. You're playing it safe. Listen, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face, until I'm 100. At the end of our lives, guys, I promise you're not going to look back and wish that you played it more safe. I promise you're not going to say, "Thank God I did what everybody else did. Thank God I didn't step off the path." No, you're going to want a redo. You're going to want to start over. You're going to want a button that gets you back to where you could live life. So this lesson is not only to not beat yourself up when you fail, because realize it's a part of it. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it stings. Yes, you could feel bad. That's okay. Loathe in it for really short periods of time and then let it pass through you and get yourself out of it. Secondly, realize that if you're not failing, then most likely you're not pushing yourself enough. And I'll say, whatever age you are watching this right now, if you're not failing in the areas that you want more, if you're not failing, if you want to be in great shape, if you're not failing with your fitness, if you're not pushing yourself too hard, if you want to make more money, but you're not failing and trying the business and trying the marketing and trying the sales and trying to do the workshops and trying to do all the different things, if you're not failing, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. If you're failing in your relationship, if you're not having many failures in your relationship, then maybe you're just standing back and you're losing intimacy, you're losing passion because you're afraid, you just want to leave it calm. The hell with calm. Be transparent, be open, be okay with disagreeing, failing, or doing something wrong in the short period so you can learn from it, grow together and go up. So, are you guys failing enough? Are you guys pushing enough? Are you guys learning from those mistakes so you don't regret them? And that's how we sharpen the knife. That's how the stone at the bottom of the river gets smooth from being worn, working hard in the roughest part. You want that next level? Be ready for failure. You deserve it. You want that next level? Be ready for failure and be okay with it. It's part of the journey.
I want to dedicate this Edge 2010 to my stepdad, Lenny Rizzo. He taught me a lot of lessons in my life. He was my stepdad since I was 9, and lessons I've learned along the time. I was thinking about that before. The first lesson was how to drink a beer. That was a really good one. He was the first one who taught me how to drink a beer, but just a sip, or maybe a can. But he taught me a lot of incredible lessons. But this last week, he taught me the greatest lesson of them all. And I want to share that with you, what I took from an experience a journey that he was on last week, is if an angel came down, and I know this might seem a little deep in the beginning of an event, but if an angel came down today and said you had a week to live, what decisions would you make today? What would you say no to today? What would you stop accepting today? What would you go for today? Here's what I know. We all put life off. We're putting it off every single day. When my spouse supports me, when the economy's better, when the job isn't so hectic, when the kids aren't in diapers, when the kids aren't in preschool, when the kids aren't in high school, or maybe when the kids aren't in college, or when my husband has my back, or my wife. When is the right time? All I know is watching my stepdad, he wanted a lot more time, and he taught me the lesson, and I am blessed to see the benefit in everything. I'm so blessed that I had this man in my life. But the lesson I learned from him today is, let's stop settling. There's so much more. Who in here knows you have much more potential than you're using? Well, who in here is going to say, screw it, and stop wasting it? Who can declare that today, that you are going to be your best version of you? Let me hear it. Who's going to declare today you be the best version of you? Because here's what I know. At the end of our lives, do you think we're going to say, I'm so glad I played it safe? I'm so glad I stayed in that job that was killing me. I'm so glad that I didn't step up. I'm so glad I didn't make my okay relationship amazing. I'm so glad that will you say, I'm glad that I was afraid to make that sales call or go through the training or take action. Hell no. At the end of our lives, all we're going to say is, did we squeeze all the juice out of this life that we possibly can? Listen, I don't know about you guys, but how fast has the last 5 years gone by? Okay, how fast will the next 5 go by? Do you want to look back in 5 years and say, I still should have, I could have? How long have some of us been waiting on a decision, living on the edge of gonna do it for ages? Why don't we just declare today that this is the moment, this is the time in history where you're not gonna accept okay? Listen, I hope everybody in here gets involved in real estate, but if you know me, I'm the success guy in real estate because I know without the habits, without the foundation for success, nothing will work. You plug in the right foundation, you plug in the right success habits, anything is possible. So what I want to encourage you today, and the lesson I got this week from my stepdad, was screw playing small. Let's go big. Who's ready to go big with me?
I want to share a thought process of just do it anyway. Do it if you have a headache. Do it if you don't feel like it. Do it whenever everybody tells you you can't. Do it when you feel overwhelmed. Do it when you feel underwhelmed. Do it anyway. All right, let me tell you what that means, guys. So, God, I'm dating myself, but Michael Jordan, and I know Bree, Brody, and most all of you watching, greatest basketball player of all time. There's still no one better as I'm filming this. And I got to be alive and young during that whole era. I watched every championship game. I watched the Dream Team when they played the Olympics. They were winning the Olympics like 105-12. I mean, it wasn't even like the best games in the Olympics were the scrimmage when they played 5-on-5, right? So Jordan, he's like greatest of all time. And about 10 years ago, I would bet to say from now, Bree, you were probably about 2 years old. I got invited by Michael Jordan and a friend of his to have dinner with him in Park City, Utah. So of course I jump on a plane. I fly to Park City. We go to his private golf club. It's only like, we're the only ones in the restaurant. We have private seats. I end up sitting next to Michael Jordan. We drank some Pinot Noir wine. They smoked cigars. I didn't because I would die. Kids don't smoke cigars though. You get motion sick just like that. That's what it felt like the only time I tried cigars. Ugh. I tried chewing tobacco once too. I vomited for 2 hours. So learned my lesson on both of those. Anyway, I sit with Michael Jordan and I get it right from him. And this is the prime example of what I'm trying to lesson I want to share with you today, to do it anyway. Professionals do it with a headache. Professionals do it when they don't feel like it. That's why they're professionals. That's why they're elite athletes. That's why they're successful business owners. That's why they have great families and they're great parents and great spouses and they're in good shape, because they do the things even sometimes when they're not feeling good or don't want to. And this was a prime example that I heard directly from the greatest basketball player of all time about one of the greatest games of all time. Now, I think, and you, Brody, you're a fact checker, so you'll probably go check this out, but I think it was Game 6. The Chicago Bulls are playing the Utah Jazz in Utah. The Bulls are up, the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan are up 3-2, I believe, and 4 games clinches it. So they play a game. Michael Jordan goes up to Park City, Utah at the time. Now, Park City was about 40 minutes away. Michael Jordan was probably I think they said he was the most famous person on the planet back then. Isn't that crazy? The most recognized, well-known person on the planet. So they had to hide him up in Park City. And this is what he told me. He didn't know if it was the flu or at 11 o'clock he was really hungry and he ordered a pizza, and he thought to himself after, it was probably the pizza sitting on the shelf all day and 11 o'clock at night. They're like, I'll just give the person ordering the pizza that one. He eats the pizza, wakes up the next morning so sick, like vomiting, sweat coming off. If you ever go to YouTube, you could probably find it and watch this game where he's just dying. He's laying on his back. He's halftime. He's, in the locker room, just laying down, sweating and sick as a dog, vomiting. Like it was either the flu or he thought it was food poisoning. So why am I telling you this? It's Game 6. If they win the championship. Like a movie. The movies couldn't direct a better ending. At the buzzer, jump shot, Michael Jordan sinks the winning basket and they win the championship. So why am I sharing that, guys? Because he didn't get to be the best in the world because he gave up easy. He didn't get to be the best in the world that he didn't feel like working out that day or shooting, foul shots, or just playing like at a mediocre level. No, he got to be the best in the world because he did it even when he didn't feel like it. He did it anyway. He did it with a headache. He did it with the flu. He did it vomiting, and he made an impact on the world. He made basketball the most fun game ever. I mean, everybody, even people who didn't think about basketball. But Michael Jordan is in the spotlight, and everybody got to know him. But there's a million Michael Jordans in all different areas. There's the Michael Jordans who start companies that make a massive impact on the world, that change things, that create inventions, that help save the planet, or electric cars, or just simple things that help moms, help dad, help business thrive. And I want you to know that each one of those people, when you go to a restaurant that's thriving, you go to a business that's thriving, you see an online business that's thriving, you go to a mastermind, you go to a workshop, any one of those things you see over and over and getting bigger, there's someone at the head of that with a whole team under him that probably has the same culture that do it anyway, even when they don't feel like it. And how does that get into your soul that you do that? Is you got to find a passion and a reason around it. I get up every day and fight for a lot of reasons. 2 of the biggest reasons are Bree and Brody, my 2 children. My wife, Lisa, by the time you watch this, I'm getting married as like in the next couple of weeks. My wife, Lisa, the impact I make on other people, the desire to grow as a human being and become a better version of myself, to be a better example for you guys. That drives me every day, and I'm going to do it anyway. I'm 50. I want to be in great shape. I'm planning on having more children. I want to be a great dad to Bree and Brody. To you guys, I will work hard. You think I feel like going to the gym at 5 o'clock every single morning? No, but I do it anyway. Some days I don't feel like going to work, but I do it anyway because the world needs what I'm delivering. Find in your heart what you want. At the end of your life, if you could be known for a few things, what are they? And then do whatever it takes to get there, because here's what I know. I've never met anybody who says, maybe next year, or that's too hard, or I don't feel good today, or I'm a little tired, or it's not convenient, or it's raining, or it's too hot. I've never met that person, while simultaneously met the happy version of that person. The person who doesn't do it anyway, to me, I don't see full of bliss. Even so, with that said, what in your life are you slacking on, even though you want it to be a part of your future? I'd identify it today. And if it's something where you just don't feel like doing it every time, then I'd rethink it. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe you're not supposed to go there. Maybe it's not the right relationship. Maybe it's not the career choice that you wanted. Figure out what drives you and then do everything in your power to make it happen.
What's up? What's up? Hey, before you go, you need to watch these next few videos. They're absolute game changers. Hurry up and click right over here and watch them, and I'll see you there.